I would like to welcome everyone today in this webinar on behalf of ACC, Middle East, and North Africa region. I also like to welcome you on behalf of App4Legal as well. This is our second webcast related to providing some managerial and technical tools to the modern lawyer or in-house lawyer to help them achieve more, right? To help them achieve more. The first webcast was about dashboards, about creating dashboards, the difference between measures, indicators, KPIs, and balanced scorecard. We discussed this a lot in the first webinar. Today, we're going to discuss agile methodology for increased productivity. I'm going to share my screen with you guys, and we can start. Okay, I think you can see my screen. Yeah, perfect. So let's begin. Hello, everyone. So today's webcast is about agile methodologies for legal teams. It's a big question. It's a beautiful topic, and it's an interesting topic actually, since lawyers are, and especially in-house lawyers, are basically having a lot to do these days. They do have a lot of pressure to meet deadlines. So a question about agility is always there. Today, we're going to discuss agility. Let me introduce myself a little bit. My name is Hussein Jardali. I'm a professor of management and organizational behavior. I'm the chief customer success officer at App4Legal. I'm enjoying a lot, meeting a lot of lawyers these days. So a beautiful community, a lot of things to learn, a lot of things to do. And I also am a researcher. I do write scholarly articles on specific topics. You can find them online. And I'm working a lot these days with basically the digital legal tech transformation in the whole region and internationally as well. I'm meeting a beautiful in-house counsels, beautiful humans, I like to say. And today I'm gonna help you just open the eyes a little bit about some topics that are very important to the modern lawyer. We're going to discuss the current planning situation in any organization, of course. We will discuss a new methodology called connected planning. I'm going to explain it a little bit. Then we will discuss the whole, process of implementing agile in or within legal teams, and more specifically, using the Kanban methodology. So these are the points to cover today. I'm going to start by the first observation. So what is the current strategy and planning situation in organization, whether they are, big corporation, small size or medium size corporations. So data is not used as it should. This is the first observation. You can see a lot these days that in-house lawyers, they rely more and more on data, and for this they are actually asking a lot of questions and they are requesting a lot of requests. So data is not used as it should. This is observation number one. The strategy within legal teams or might not be meaningful, and not everyone in the team is aligned with this. Some poor communication is always there. We are noticing that some legal teams are experiencing a poor communication, which basically hinders the development and the execution of any strategy or a plan that is done. Lack of decisive leadership. Imagine with me this is something that is also it triggers a lot of questions. What about the leadership in my in-house legal team? What's the prospective leader? What do I want from my leader? What does he want from me? And is he executing his leadership as he should? Resistance to change. This is the most common problems I'm experiencing with the in-house legal team. I come with some beautiful ideas, with some interesting tech, and then I found this, this wall of resistance saying, okay, that's good. You have some beautiful stuff. You have some beautiful ideologies and methodologies, but you need to be easy on us. We don't want to change immediately. This is a big question also. And of course, goals remain ambiguous. This is one part of the poor communication that happens within any team. It's not only the legal team, any team in the organization. So this is the landscape. This is the landscape that we're dealing with now, right? Now, alternatively, there's also this will cause some strategies to fail, right? Strategy makers do not check if it's doable or not. This is one. Don't be surprised. Some C-suite executives do not know what a strategy is. I did some due diligence, and I'm pretty sure you all are familiar with maybe one or two cases like this. But again, sometimes the leaders, or some of the leaders, some of the C executives are not at least aligned with the corporate strategy that exists. And a lot of difficulties applying the right, numbers to the right indicators. And this was discussed in our previous webcast about the indicators and how do we create them and how do we use them. Low accountability, visibility related to responsibilities as well. This is very important. Now, why is this important? Because visibility is one part of the agile process management or the agile project management. So this is why accountability should be, again, revised when it comes to implementing agile methods. So the common barriers of performance are what we just explained, right? Less scalability coming from assembling numbers. We don't understand the numbers. We don't want to put numbers. We don't want to put KPIs. This is one. Specific reports might not be sent at the right person for the right person. Different interpretation of the plan. And this is why communication in this particular areas are very important. High expectations when it comes to the required SLAs. No, that's it. So we discuss, the digital transformation of in-house legal teams, and the first question is, what about our SLAs? Should we, how to make decisions about the service level agreement with other business units within the company? The static dashboards are very annoying. You know why? Because they are static. They cannot be, you cannot dig further in the data. You cannot extract more information, and this is where you start making bad or non-business or non-departmental related decisions. And this is also the last point, that business units are working from different definitions or from the different perspectives. So there's a whole corporate strategy with different units in the company interpreting this strategy the way they want and acting based on this definition. So again, this discrepancy between accepting or rejecting a strategy or not understanding what are the point of this strategy are also some of the barriers to performance. Now, what we come today to discuss is basically the following: how to. I'm just gonna skip this and ask these following questions: what are the barriers, or how should these barriers be eliminated? Right? We discussed a lot of strategic points today. We discussed a lot of issues that might been taking place in a lot of corporation, and even you, while you're listening now, you might relate some of the things I'm discussing to issues happening within your organization, and you're asking the same question now: why should we eliminate these barriers? One, efficiency. Of course, this is the holy grail of any managerial process in any department, right? Well execution of the strategy, because you do have a part, you as an in-house legal department, you have your own, contribution to the table. You need to bring your stuff to the table as well. Reduced any type of risk, and of course, increase the competitive advantage. Now, the question is, okay, we know that. Thank you very much. You just pinpointed on the problems, and you just told us why we should solve this problem. And basically, I do believe that a lot of you have an idea about this, but how we do it, right? How we do it. So one of the things is something called it's a new concept. It's a good concept in management called connected planning. Connected planning is basically connecting the right people in the organization with the right processes, with the data, with the business function, with the plan types and the technology. Everything needs to be connected because they are not living in silos. Everyone is connected somehow in some way, the organization. So connected planning is very important. Now, more specific question: how to facilitate connected planning, right? So this is beautiful. Telling me that I want everything to be connected in a way or another, and connected in a way to achieve a certain objective within the company. That's good. That's beautiful. Now, the second question is there any infrastructure that needs to be there before implementing this type of management or this type of planning? Is there any, variables that needs to be there that should be, is there any infrastructure for this whole process? And why should I care as an in-house legal department about the whole, connected planning issues? You do have your own stake as an in-house legal department. You do have your own stake in this connected planning methodology. But now, how to facilitate this connected planning by using, and this is the whole objective of the session, by using agile project management or agile management or methodologies, techniques that are basically very useful when it comes to achieving your specific goals within the department. So agile project management or agile management, you can say, it reduces the risk of failure and the risk of losing considerable amounts of investments, whether they were investments in time or in money or anything. So agile is the trending word now in the world of management, and it's being implemented in a lot of different business units. It's not only in the legal department, it's also being applied in the marketing department, in the procurement department, in the HR department, and so on and so forth. So this is not only related to legal departments, it's everywhere. Now, the question whether it succeed or not depends on a lot of variables. We're going to discuss them in details right now, but I'm very happy if you do have some Q&A or some questions to ask, just drop them down in the Q&A section, and I would, of course, answer any question you do have. Now, let's move to another important point, which is basically the fundamentals of Agile. When we say Agile, what do we mean, right? There's a lot of definitions. There are a lot of definitions. There are a lot of interpretation of what is Agile, right? Agile is people interaction. It's a mindset. You're gonna see now. It's a method. It's a methodology, but it involves people interaction, business involvement throughout the process. It's not about doing something and forget about it like for 1 year or 2 years or 3 years. It's about having business involvement throughout the process of achieving or doing something. Reduce time to market. Now, this is for products. It's going to be the same for in-house legal department. Reduce time to deliver a contract, for example. Early deliveries and quick wins. This is very generic. I'm going to move on now to the to the specificities of how to use it in in-house legal department. But if you know what are the basics of Agile within any type of business, you will immediately relate to the other things we're going to discuss today. Early deliveries are very important. That means iterations. In Agile, we use iterations a lot. Iterations help build something step by step in small steps, but it's very good. Small enhancement to keep product fresh. or to keep the servers fresh. Flexibility and responsiveness to change what has been built. So it's not about doing something and forget about it. It's about doing something and continuously asking the following question: Did we do the right thing? Should we do another? Should we have another product? Should we have another way of doing the business? You need to be flexible when addressing these types of problems, to change focus, to remain ahead of the game. And when I say ahead of the game, if you were the company, this is something. If you are a department within the company, this is something else, right? And remaining ahead of the competition within legal teams is basically respecting the SLAs, delivering the value as you should, and again, to have the flexibility to review what's working and what is not, right? Users and customers need at the heart of decision making. So as an in-house legal department, right, who are your customers, right? Your customers are either business units or maybe some external advisors or some external entities. But the question is, what are you doing? What are you doing to make their needs satisfied? What are you doing to make their needs satisfied, and how you do it? Okay, shipping the product is everything. Shipping the service is everything. Doing the job is everything. So imagine and just transpose these concepts into your mindset now, and ask yourself the following question: which of those elements or fundamentals I am applying within my work now, and which are not? Because again, these are basics. If you move now, because if you move to the origins of making, understanding agile, it didn't come from management science or from the legal theories. It came from people working in the software industry. And imagine people working in the software industry, and the reason they started this agile manifesto, or this agile movement, is because at a certain point of time, right, information system project, they cost a lot, billions of dollars, millions of dollars, and they have a high probability of failure. Well, this is a problem, right? In the 90s, people like investing a lot of money in information system and in digital transformation, and it costs a lot of money, but the success probability was very, very, very low. So they created this agile methodology in designing softwares, and we can, I'm just gonna remove the software-centric slang and put them in management legal perspective. Why? Because it's more fun to have them like this way. I'm gonna skip the information system and the software industry slang, and I'm gonna discuss agile processes harnesses our change for the customer's competitive advantage. It delivered project by iteration. This is what we just said. Build project around motivated individuals, and this is the part where the human is an important element in any agile transformation. Use powerful face-to-face meeting to convey information. This is important. You know why? Because although you might think that this is not an official meeting with a colleague, but if you're doing this face-to-face meeting every day on a cup of coffee, you might be surprised how much you can solve problems. I, for example, in my work, right, in my current work, I do a lot of coffee meetings with head of developments and head of software product owners. We call them the product owners. I do a lot of coffee meetings, right, with product owners. Why? Because these small 5 minutes to 10 minutes meetings are very important and are very strategic for me. Imagine, it's a very powerful tool. I know that a lot of people use them, but they are very important in agile environment, in an agile environment. Simplicity, it's the art of maximizing the amount of work not done, or the amount of work not done is essential. That's beautiful. So minimizing the non-efficient task, this is what I mean, right? At regular intervals, the team reflects on how to become more effective, then tunes and adjusts its behavior accordingly. What if our first methodology didn't work? What if our first plan didn't work? What if we implemented a legal tax software in our in-house legal department and we did not know how to use it efficiently to deliver value to our business units? What should we do? Right? Questions. And these questions, they often come with an expense, but they also come with some brainstorming. If you do some brainstorming on these particular events or particular, issues, you might find a lot of. So this is what iteration is. This is what we said. We start with something, then we evaluate. But we don't evaluate after 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. We evaluate immediately to take more and more informed decision. Now I chose this, because we're talking about change, and I think everyone who's been embracing change in his department is basically finding a dinosaur in his company somewhere in the middle of all this mess, right? Do you think he is open to change? It's a big question. It's a big question, as big as a dinosaur, right? And we do have, to be honest with you, Agile will run out with this, will face this type of challenges about how to deal with the dinosaur in my company. How to deal with him, how to convince him to change, how to make them change, how to we again, I told you, real-time examples. We implement softwares and we implement digital transformation, not only the software. We accompany, we go with the companies hand in hand with the digital transformation process, and every step of this process we do find people who do not want to change, and they want to keep the old-fashioned way of reviewing the contracts, sending the contracts, for example, analyzing what they do, and so on and so forth. So yes, the answer for this is not basically to get the dinosaur out of the room. It's going to be hard for you, right? It's only taking baby steps. We call them baby steps because they are baby steps. Small steps, firm steps, small steps, firm steps in the change process are the solution to every, change process within a big or medium-sized or small-sized company. So, small chunks, small steps, baby steps, we start changing whatever we want. And of course, the outcome of this adopting this agile method is very important, because again, it submits clear rule and responsibilities. Everybody knows, in an agile project management perspective, everybody knows what should he brings to the table, what are the expected results from him or from his team. We empower people, actually. And agile management, we empower people to take decisions. We need to make this. We need to do this, because when you assign a task for someone in your company, when you assign a lawyer to do something, you need to empower him to take decisions, right? It's going to save you time. It's going to save you money. It's going to save you a lot of efficiency, right? Power in union. Always in agile, we talk. We do not. This is why we talk in teams. Team leader. He's leading this team. He's leading this and this. We talk about union. People need to be connected. And again, remember, everything is connected. The connected planning methodologies, then, adopting agile. Why? Because we want people who are working together, right, to deliver higher value to the stakeholder. High energy and positive vibes. It brings positive vibes. I used to work in a public, university, and they are very far from being agile. They are far from being agile. And then I came to tech company and I saw the agility within the teams, the way we assign tasks, the way we assign projects, the way we put some problems. It's always beautiful to have some problems to solve, right? This is why I put here high energy and positive vibe, because agile, it submits, it reflects positive vibe within the team. It makes everyone feels that he's alive. And of course, people enjoying their work will get better results. This is what makes it a good choice to do. Now, is it the cure to all our problems? I don't think so. I don't think so. So I don't know if you know Goodfellas, but I'm quoting them here. Agile methods could be abused by whom? Agile method could be abused by the non-performers. Non-performers could abuse the system, right? Now, again, asking everyone to adopt this methodology without boarding them on what to do and when to do and why they are doing it is not good. It's not good. This is also a barrier to adopting agile. There will be people who will not get or not buy into it. There will be people who say, thank you very much, I'm not going to do it. Now, this is where the higher management empowerment and the higher management decision is also very important to make this process, this change process, as easy as possible. So let's translate everything we just said to the legal team. How to prepare the legal team to be agile? This is good. It's a good question. I did propose some, let's say 7 steps, right? Step number 1, define the vision of the legal team. Maybe someone will tell me, we don't have a vision. We just want to finish our job and, consult with the company and give our legal opinions, and that's it, right? No, it's not going to be like that. If you want to be agile, you need to have a vision. And by vision, I mean, what do you expect from yourself, from your department, from your team to have in the next, what do you want to bring to the table? Define the vision. Define the business value of your team. You are there for a reason. You do a lot of work. You do a lot of contracts. You take care of the company. Now, a lot of business units do not understand this. They do not know the value of the legal team, and they think that this is a cost center. I'm sure that you heard a lot of this. And I know for sure, and you know for sure, that an in-house legal department, he basically take care of the whole company. And when I mean take care, he take care of the contracts, of the legal stuff, protecting the company, protecting the company's assets, meeting the deadlines. They are, the black box within the black box in the company. Build the project team. Put your team together, right? Build it. Break down the project. Now, put the project, if you are working with contracts, for example, and these contracts, like, it's a project, consider it as a project, not as a task. Consider it as a project and then divide it as tasks. Provide estimates. How much time do you need to do this, X? How much time do you need to do this, Y? How much time do you need to do this, Z, etc.? So provide estimates, because you need these deadlines. You need this deadline. Risk and expectation management is also the step number 6 within the process. And of course, one of the most important part of this process is basically to communicate frequently. Why? Because communication allows legal teams to, as we said, work by iteration, right? Iterations, they are the baby steps we talked about in the beginning of this presentation. Now, as I told you, in this like 15 or 20 minutes remaining, 15, 20 minutes remaining, I'm going to discuss the Kanban methodology. Kanban methodology, because Kanban is a Japanese way that Toyota has created in order to manage its operations, right? And it started as a scheduling system. It's very easy to grasp. And now I'm going to show you step by step how to basically, how to use it within the framework of a legal team. Now, it has a start and it has an end. It starts with open, for example, and it ends with canceled or closed or so on and so forth. So let's take just an example. I'm going to take you immediately to this illustration. Now this is called your backlog. What is your backlog? Your backlog is the place where you put all your tasks that are related to projects, right? I'm going to call them projects. You have task 1, task 2, task 3, and so on and so forth. And then you do have milestones. You do have milestone 1, milestone 2, 3, 4, and then you can start moving your task whenever you're done. Whenever you're done with task 1, for example, you move this one from your backlog to put it in here, and then when it's completed, you put it in here. So you have visibility over all your tasks related to all your project in one table called a Kanban. This one. So why is this important? Because it visualizes the workflow. You see everything. Open, in progress, pending, closed, cancelled, for example. This is a workflow, right? So it visualizes the workflow. It limits the work in progress. Work in progress is one very important element in the workflow to be able to, move tasks from one place to another place. So the in progress is not good. It should be done, and so on and so forth. So it's helpful. This table, this Kanban board, it's helpful because it allows you to visualize all of these, tasks in one place. So the aim is to have a fast and smooth movement from to do to done. This is the whole idea of Kanban boards: to move from to-do lists to done. And once it's done, a set of tasks are done, a project is done, and once a set of projects are done, then we achieved our objectives, and therefore we did our part of the whole company strategy. So the good thing about it is it makes it easy for you to finalize the step by step, and then to aggregate them into tasks or projects, and to say that this is done, this is impending, it should be done, and you can ping the people or to communicate with the people responsible of this particular task or any other tasks, and again, it gives you visibility over the whole workflow and what's happening there. It's like, you see the traffic in the in progress, you see the traffic in the to-do list, you see the traffic in the done or pending or closed, and so on and so forth. So this is how it works again. I just put a slide here and on the in progress, how to manage the work in progress. I discussed a little bit this in the previous slide. I'm not going to repeat, just for allowing everyone to visualize what I need to say about the Kanban, for example, for managing contract. And here is my real life example of how to use Kanban boards in a contract lifecycle management. Right? Step number 1, configure the board. What do I mean by configure the board? Put the process. What's the process of a contract lifecycle, of a normal contract in the company? It's gonna pass by filing and drafting. It's gonna be under approval, under signature, under negotiation, executed, or canceled, for example. These are 6 steps workflow for any normal contract in my company or in my legal department. And then once you set the workflow, you then create your contract. You start drafting all your contracts. You upload them to your software, and in this case, it's App4Legal I'm discussing, and you put a status for everyone. Again, we told you that each contract has a status. It should have a status, either filing and drafting to canceled or executed or under signature and so on and so forth. Of course, you can configure this board the way you want. And this is the beauty of having something configurable. You can configure it the way you want. Now, step number 2, as we said, we create our database. We put data in our database, the contracts, the documents, the attachment. And of course, we said that we need to put a status for each of these contracts. And then you decide whether it was under negotiation, under signature, under approval, executed, canceled. Where's the process of this contract for now? So you check this as well. And then the last step, the head of legal, for example, he can use the Kanban board to check everything and to check whether, the contracts are moving. There's no traffic, as we said. There's no traffic. It shouldn't have traffic under, for example, under execute, under approval. Under approval should always be 0, for example, or should have the minimum of 3 contracts in under approval. We do need to, for example, it's 50 contracts under filing and drafting. Why do we have 15 contracts under filing and drafting? This is where you start asking questions, and you start delivering, and you start making adjustments, and you say, why this contract, for example, is still under filing and drafting? It should be now under approval or under signature, and so on and so forth. So it's a very easy methodology to manage your contracts, for example, your tasks, your daily activity, your legal opinions. It's very nice because it allows you to really know why or what's the number of contracts that are being executed this month, the previous month, the previous quarter, and so on. So you can build some estimations based on these figures. And this is why it is important to say that using a Kanban board within the framework of a legal team is a very important tool, especially when it comes to decision makers. Decision makers want to make decisions based on real-time information. Finally, I need to tell you that the process of implementing all of this, I explained in the first part we discussed, the problems that every company or department could experience within their internal, within their internal operations. Then we discussed something called the connected planning, and we said that connected planning is something that it's a very beautiful methodology. By the way, when I was preparing this presentation or this content, I read 2 books, 2 very important books: Brilliant Agile Project Management for Rob Cole and Edward Scotcher, and the Connected Planning or the Playbook for Connected Planning for Ron Diamond. These 2 references are very important, good to read, very good to read books if you want to implement change and agile within your legal team. Now, things might change or things might hinder your transformation process. Again, the best advice when it comes to implementing agile methods is basically to use baby steps. And I intentionally chose the Kanban methodology because the Kanban methodology is a very easy to apply method within legal team to visualize, to organize, to manage the workflow of contracts, legal advice, litigation cases, whatever. You can use Kanban boards to manage practically everything and to know who's doing what, when, Is there any problem with them? Do they need any help? Should we iterate the way we do the business or not? Should we iterate the way we do the contract lifecycle management processes? And again, this is why I told you the process, it takes a little bit of time, but with some patience and time, you might and you will be able to implement with the right tool. By the way, you can implement agile management or agile project management techniques, methodologies within the framework of your legal team. Now, this is what I had to say today for you. It's as I told you, it's a 45-minute presentation. I hope you did like the content of this. Again, I put the references for you because these are very important references that you can use whenever you want to do more with Agile. Connected planning and brilliant Agile project management, of course, with the right technology tool is always a good solution to apply and to implement Agile methods within the legal team more specifically. Thank you for your time today. And of course, we will allow any question to be asked. If you do have any questions for us today, we will be more than happy to answer these questions. If not, then I will see you in the next webcast, maybe next year. So happy holidays. Enjoy your time with the families, and see you soon. Thank you very much for attending this webinar, and have a beautiful day. Thank you very much.